Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's math lesson for our new module, Session 2, Library, Book, Data, or Data, however you say it is fine. We are going to warm up our brains into math by counting by fours. Now, remember, if you forget how to count by fours, that's okay. You can always count on, or you can go to our Math Resources page and look under the Multiple Strips tab, and it has all the different ways that you can count by twos, fours, so you're going to look at the fours, and you can use that to help you. So you can pause and go get that now if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to count by fours. You can stand up and jog in place and count to the beat of counting by fours with me here. Help me fill them in. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. So let's do that again all together now. Jog in place, move and groove if you want to. Here we go. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. Nice job, folks. We're actually going to have to count by fours when we fill out one of our graphs today in this lesson. So before we start our library book data lesson, think about yesterday's lesson about the book lover survey that we did, whether it was animal books, sports books, fantasy books, and the arts and crafts books. That's right. So we revealed about our reading preferences in our class that most of us enjoyed animal books and sports books. Some of us liked arts and crafts books and the fantasy books as well. But today now, we're going to work with a larger set of data related to different kinds of books, but not from us today or not from our school. We're going to travel to Woodlawn Elementary School. And here's my smiley friend here named Bob. Bob's going to help us out today in our lesson. So before we start today's lesson and go to Woodlawn Elementary School and use some data from them, we need to make sure we have our math student book, page 68. So go ahead and get to that page now in your math student book. You can pause this video if you need to. Go get that because you will need to follow along in your books for this lesson. So go ahead and grab it. Bob and I will wait. All right, Bob says it's time to get back on track. So I'm going to read to you what page 68 says and then talk about the graph. Woodlawn Elementary School's librarian, Mr. Jackson, is keeping track of the kinds of the books students check out. This chart shows the number of each kind of book the third graders have checked out so far this year. So it says genre. What is genre? Well, genre means right here, Bob's going to show us what column I'm talking about. Genre right here in this column just means the different types of books. So we have adventure, arts and crafts, biography, fantasy, fiction, graphic novels, science, and sports books, all those genres. Then Bob, can you go to the next column, please? Thank you, Bob. You listen so well. We have the fiction or nonfiction column. So that's going to tell us if these types of genres are either a fiction book or a nonfiction book. So F for fiction, N for nonfiction. So that means the adventure genre are fiction books and the arts and crafts genre are nonfiction books because it has the N. So you can look at that column there. That's what that means. Bob, to the next column, please. Thank you, Bob. The number of books checked out is the last column here. This tells you how many third graders then checked out these types of books. So if I went down and looked at graphic novels, thank you, Bob, I could see that 29 students checked out graphic novel books. If I go back up, I could see that, biography books, 12 students checked that out. So now we're going to take this information here. Bob, would you like to come with us? No? Oh, look, he's sad now. He wants to come with us. You can come with us, Bob. How did I turn his smile? There we go. He's happy now. Bob can come with us to the next page, and we are going to see now what we are going to do in our books. What you're going to have to do now is take that data that's on your page with all those information with fiction and nonfiction and the number of books checked out, and you're going to have to make a graph. You're going to make a bar graph. So what you're going to need here, Bob's going to help us out. Come on back, Bob. There you are, Bob. You're going to have to make sure you have a title, and you're also going to have to make sure that you label the scale, which they mean right here, the scale of numbers going up and down, and then the label each column here at the bottom as well to represent the genre. So they started it off for us on our slides, but in your books on page 68, there's not much room. So if you need to actually abbreviate some of the genres to put them on each of the columns here, that's okay. Right, Bob? Is that okay? He says yes, it's okay. Okay. Going up here on the y-axis, that's the official name for it, and this is the x-axis. So on the y-axis here, you are going to label this part here with multiples of 4. Why do you think we're labeling with multiples of 4, you say? Well, if we go back and look at our data, you can take a look here and see that, when I counted by 4s, I landed on 8 down here. I landed on 12. I landed on 16. I landed on 32. So counting by 4s actually might be our best bet when we make our graph. So go ahead right now on page 68, fill in your numbers here, counting by 4s, and then go across at the bottom here and fill in all of the genres and go in order. It would be helpful if you go in order. So here would be adventure, then you're going to have arts and crafts, biography. Go in the order of your chart. Fill it in. Remember, you can abbreviate because I know there's not a lot of room on page 68, and that's okay. And then make sure you have a title. There's no line at the top for the title, just write it in at the top. Go ahead and do that now. You can pause the video because then I'm going to show you what it should look like. So here is what your graph should look like. If your exact title isn't this, books checked out by 3rd graders, that's okay. If it's something similar, awesome job. If you have all the genres and it labeled here, again, awesome job. And if you have the number of books checked out counting by 4s all the way up to 36, well done. Have a look, check your work before we move on to the next part. So now here, what if though we go to graph fantasy books? Now here's fantasy, but we notice that, oh no, fantasy is 10, and when I go up, I don't see a number 10. What am I going to do? Bob, do you know? Bob said he knows. Bob, help us out. Well, let's see here. What I would do is I would just fill it in. Let me get my little scribble tool here so I can show you. I would just fill it in close to 10 as I can. So I would go to the 12 line here, and 10's less than 12. So I'm just going to go a little bit below 12, in between the 8 and 12, about halfway through, and then I could fill in my graph here and color it in. The scribble tool is kind of annoying to use, but I'm going to do it anyway for you guys. When you shade in your graph, you're going to make it nice and neat for us. So make sure when you fill that in, it's nice and neat and way better than I just did. Bob, thank you very much. You're exactly right. So you're not going to see exact numbers here for all of them. So now that you filled in your graph, you're going to now fill in the bar part of your graph by looking at all the numbers and making sure they're at least close to the numbers on the side. So again, for like 29 graphic novels, you would go up to, oh, there's 28. So I'm just going to go slightly above now the 28 because 29 is close to 28. So go ahead now and fill in the bars for each of the genres on your graph on page 68 now. Again, stop the video if you need to. And then we'll check it out. Go ahead and have some fun with that. Now that you have your graph all filled out, you're going to use that to help you answer the questions on page 69. So go ahead now and turn to page 69, and I'm going to read to you the questions. Oh, let me get rid of this part here. So, page 69, here we go. I'm going to read you the directions. You can pause and go as you please. Use the library book's data and graph you just completed to solve these problems. Show all of your work for problems 3 and 4. So we're actually only going to do page 69 problems 1, 2, 3, and 4 in parts A and B. You do not have to do 5 and 6. You can if you want as a challenge, but we're only going to do in class today numbers 1 through 4. So the first one says, which kind of book was checked out the most? how many of them were checked out? So make sure you answered both of those questions. Then for question 2, which kind of book was checked out the least? How many of them were checked out? Answer 2 of those questions. Then for 3, it says how many more, comparing, how many more of the most popular kind of book, see problem 1, were checked out than the least popular kind of book, see problem 2. So use that information from problems 1 and 2 to solve 3. You're comparing those two numbers. And make sure you show your work for that problem. Show how you got the answer, however you can. And then your last problem you will have to do is problem number 4, parts A and B. It says each kind of book is either fiction or nonfiction. So which kind of book, fiction or nonfiction, was checked out more? So use your graph or your chart on page 68 to figure out which kind of book was checked out more, fiction or nonfiction. So you might have to show some work there too to figure out that information. Show your work for A. And then for B, tell us exactly how many more, again comparing, exactly how many more of the most popular kind of book, fiction or nonfiction, were checked out. So once you figure out part A, then you can solve part B and show your work. If you're stuck on this, that's okay. We'll go over it tomorrow, but we at least want to see some work shown. And then you're going to screenshot a picture of your work for pages 68 and 69 and turn it in. Even if you don't finish, even if you're stuck, that's okay. Give us a question mark. Whatever, we're here to help you. We just want you to try and do your best. And then we want you to go finish the rest of your work and have fun if there's still snow out there. Currently at 3:53 p.m., there is. We hope you're enjoying it. So that's our math for today. Again, we'll go over this tomorrow. Try your best and have a wonderful, wonderful night. See you tomorrow. Have so much fun. Bye.